Plaintiff Roberta Stark has always had a passion for riding motorcycles, and she often rode on the back of her dad's bike. Roberta claims after her dad's death, she used her inheritance to buy a motorcycle from the defendant, but he damaged it before she took possession, so she's suing. Defendant Thomas Bachman says this situation with Roberta is crazy, and she's acting more like a woman scorned who was left at the altar. Thomas insists he never damaged the bike, and he's countersuing for harassment.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I've had a passion since I was 15 years old of riding a bike on the back. I had a boyfriend in high school, and I started riding then. And then from there with my dad's owned a bike, and I rode with him. And my dad passed away. It'll be a year.
He
gave me some inheritance money. I was left some inheritance money. And I thought from there, I said, better way to spend my money is to buy a motorcycle, and it's my passion to have that. So, I called my friend up, Randy, and he went, I told him to go on, start finding me a bike. And I told him I'd like black or blue, so he went on Craigslist and started looking, and that, it's just been my passion. I just, and I feel like I was taken advantage of most, my dream was taken away from me. I feel like I got conned, and...
Okay, before we get to what happened, let me get some background from you, sir.
This has been one of the most craziest experiences that I've had. I've had problems with female in the past before, but this has gone so far where she's going to my ex's house, act like I left her at the altar or something and told her that I was, in love with her. I can understand her passion for wanting a motorcycle and riding a motorcycle. I'd love to have a helicopter, but I would probably get a license, fly one first before I would go and buy one. And she even has her witness that says that he wrote it for her. I don't see how any of this is my problem.
Didn't test drive, is that what you're saying,
right.
Sir? Sir, come on up. You have your witness want to speak.
Yes, this is
State your name.
I went to the house with her.
State your name. What's your
My
name?
name's Randy Cope.
All right.
I went to Mr. Boxman's house the day that we went to see the bike together. I test drove it. The bike rode great. I come back to her house and told her, you got to take a ride on this bike. You'll love it. So she got on the back, and we took off for a ride. So that was on a Saturday. The gentleman delivered it Wednesday. He babied it off the trailer, babied it up in the yard. I told her, well, it's his last time he's going to ride, just make sure he don't fall over, I guess. But I had to go back to work. 2 hours later, she texts me, and she goes, I'd like to go get my title put on the bike. So we're going to ride to Sparta. We couldn't even get it out of the yard. We couldn't move it from where it was at. We had to load it on a trailer.
But you're suing for damages. Are you suggesting that between the time you test rode it and paid him...
We paid him at the house.
Okay.
When he delivered it. But
you paid him when he delivered it?
Right. But we didn't test drive it when he brought it. We just test drove it Saturday. Gave him the money, didn't even want to count it. He wanted to get out the door and go.
So what damages are you suing for exactly? And
I have evidence right here, Your Honor.
let's see it, please. That what? That what?
Back axle, where he was doing donuts.
At what point?
When he brought us the bike.
This is where it was parked at.
This is where it was parked at.
I'm missing something. When he brought you the bike, you could see it was damaged?
No, we could not see it.
Not until you got on to ride it. I had to go back to work.
Had you given him the money by then?
Yes.
Right.
We exchanged the money in my house, and then I told him to even count the money, and he said, I don't need to count the money. He said, I trust you. I know it's all there.
And
then out the door
he was spinning donuts, and that's how it was
She went
damaged.
to get he owes her some receipts, $2,100 worth of receipts.
So,
she went to his house to get them.
And I pulled in the parking lot next to his house, and there's a great big circle of a donut from a single tire.
And you assume it was from this bike?
Hearsay.
Assuming.
Okay. And when you spoke with him...
Right next to his driveway.
All right. When you spoke with him, what did he say?
He claims that the bike didn't move an inch on the Saturday that we test rode it after we test rode it.
Okay.
He claims it didn't move an inch.
All right. Let me hear from him then. Let him tell me. Sir?
From the very beginning, I almost even told her on the phone that I don't think she should be purchasing this motorcycle, that it had too much power. And even when he test rode it, I made it very clear that the engine was just rebuilt on it, that they shouldn't be going fast on it. The engine still needs to be broke in. He came back and said he had 4 motorcycles previous like this one and told me, man, that thing really is fast. And we could hear him.
So what do you think happened?
I'm not sure what happened. I know that I went out of my way on this, not only that I had other people lined up.
Did you start it when you brought it to them?
It was on the trailer. I started it, backed it down off the trailer, and rode it probably.
Did you see that?
Yes, sir.
They all seen it. And he was standing there, too, when I dropped the motorcycle off. Well, I babied it at this point.
But
here.
it worked for you or not?
No, it'll roll. You can't tell it unless you're on it. The bearings are spun out of it.
He was standing right out front.
Or the bearings?
If you get on it, the back wheel's just free. The bearings are gone. You can tell it's got a wobble
All right,
to it.
how much did you give him?
I gave him $4,000, Your Honor.
And the $1,450 is because you later discovered these damages.
Your Honor,
How much later did you discover these damages?
an hour later, an hour and a half
And,
later.
and when you called him, he said what?
I have texts, and
Just tell me, what did he say?
Get an estimate.
he said, go get an estimate then.
Okay. All right, let's see that. Sir, did you suggest that they get an estimate?
At some point, I did, yes.
Why?
Well, the first thing that I told her was that I didn't know what she was talking about. Send me pictures of what she's talking about.
Did she?
Yeah, she did send me pictures of it.
Is
And
that
that's when I
you told
explained to
her go and get an estimate?
That's when I explained to her that the bike hadn't moved, things like that. It was only after about a phone call every 5 minutes while I was at work and text messages with my name being spelled in capital letters and 18 exclamation points behind
Did
it.
you tell them to stop calling?
No, I never did tell her to stop
Did you say I
talking.
didn't do anything wrong?
Yes, I
don't
did.
owe you anything because there was nothing wrong with this bike, so stop calling me.
Yeah, yes, I did.
You
And-
have that? Ma'am, did he
No,
tell
sir,
you that?
I have
did
every
he say, I
single-
didn't do anything wrong?
No.
There was nothing wrong with this bike? Stop calling me
No,
at
he
work.
did not.
Instead, you've given
He
me
even-
evidence that said go get an
And
estimate.
he even has a mission right here that he said, I'm not paying $800 for that estimate. He said, or even half of that, but I will give you $300,
Sir,
and
did
that's
you agree to
that.
give some money? Let's see that, ma'am. Did he give you $300?
No, he did it. He hasn't
Sir,
gave
did
me
you
no
agree
receipts.
to pay some money?
Yes, I did. I no longer live at the house and wasn't at the time either where my children stay. This is where I guess when they were doing parking lot investigations out there, that she also went and knocked on my door, and she's telling the mother of my children that
That's a lie.
that I'm a liar, that I've done her wrong, and that
That's a
she's
lie.
sneaking around through backyards. And this was all during the text messages, and that text message right after that
So
is
she
when
forced you to give her the $300. Is that what you're saying?
after a while I just wanted crazy to go away, and if $300 was going to make it go.
And why did you tell her to go and get an estimate? If you wanted crazy to go away, you just give crazy $300. You don't say, crazy, here's $300. Now crazy, also get an estimate, because you've told crazy to get back in touch with you once she gets an estimate. And if you're giving crazy $300 to go away, you don't at the same time say, crazy, come back. Your counterclaim is for what, sir?
The counterclaim is for all the harassment that she's
All
put
right,
me through.
you have evidence?
Here's all the pages of the text messages.
No.
They wouldn't stop. That's,
All it
hey,
has-
Don't hand me a
I'm
bunch of
calling
pages.
you.
You
Hey,
read
call
them.
me ASAP. And the other one on here is when after that the motorcycle, when it did happen, that I told her, I said, do not come to my house
No, I
anymore
want to hear the
uninvited.
harassment. She said, call me as soon as possible. What else?
After that, the showing up at my house, she sent me text message saying that she's
Ma'am,
gone.
did you show up at his house?
Yes, I did. He told me that I would come. He said, if I'm not there, you can come there.
Did you tell her to come?
No, I did not.
I believe you did. $1,450, and your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
Thank
Judgment
you,
for
sir.
the
Very much.
plaintiff. Yours dismissed.
I'm glad that it's over with, at least that it's settled, and I'll no longer have calls or text messages or people showing up at my house.
I just know that you can't trust everybody.